your intents locked in and conscious action follows, shit starts to work out.
Right, welcome back to another video. It's by Matt Seaburn. We're gonna give you guys something special today. I've been dropping little hints towards this video being released soon on my Instagram, and today I'm gonna give you guys every single thing I've ever learned about personal branding. And this dates back. I'm gonna give you guys the context so that you can choose if you want to tap into this, context and what I'm about to give you for yourselves. And again, this dates back literally 8-9 years ago. Got my first camera and I realized sort of that you can see the whole world through your own lens, and you can kind of choose to experience things on how you choose to see it. So camera is something I fell in love with very, very quickly. And in high school, obviously, kind of wanted to start making some money and better my own situation. Obviously, just came from normal middle class lifestyle, you know what I mean? However, I did grow up on a private island, but that's a story for another day. Kind of that was early on in my life, and that was until I was 10 years old, and then obviously came back to Cape Town, South Africa, and went to school, did all of that, grew up. And yeah, while I was growing up, I found a deep love for content creation and just for creating in general. And yeah, basically I started doing different video shoots in the beginning for different music artists that I would DM, local artists, different rappers, etc. Eventually I started doing some different brand work, and early on I had this idea of a business that I used to call Icarus Media. And basically my love for content started there. I had this thing that I used to think was a business in my eyes. I'd at least exchange money for a product and service, which is content for someone. So it was, I guess, a business. And I had literally run that up in high school to a point of when I was 18, I got approached by YSL Beauty to do a bit of a campaign and direct something, and that was kind of the epitome, or whatever you want to say. Let me just put it that way, of where that business early on, that high school business went and got to. I eventually started consuming as the digital revolution evolved. And during this process, I was always just putting myself out there. So whether I knew it or not and was conscious of it, I was building a personal brand, always posting content. I've been posting on my current account, and I had a previous account that got up to 30,000 followers, and then I just literally deactivated the account just to restart fresh and more authentic. But I'd been posting almost every day for 8 years straight, so it was just a game that I loved. And I'm saying that from where I am now, I've been posting for 8 years, literally every day pretty much. And when I was 18, just continue that story on context. When I was 18, did that campaign, killed that off, and then I started a whole bunch of different businesses, e-com, got involved with a product business where I sold these puzzle pieces things, these cognition puzzles, and I was targeting neurodivergent people. I terminated the company. Long story short, I started an education company, terminated that company as well along the way, and then started basically in the personal brand space. And at first, this is now almost 3 years ago, at first basically I started as a brand architect, and I think I was just consuming a lot of what was happening on the social media space, and I'm seeing a lot of people helping others grow revenue and help people with their businesses and increase kind of business in certain ways. And it was in a way just business processing. I used to call myself a brand architect, and you know what I mean? I'd come in basically as a consultant and help people out. And it didn't go that well, to be honest with you. I struggled to build credibility for myself because honestly, it was something that wasn't original. I had been picking up kind of things that I'd consumed online and finding pathways that I think I thought could have worked out for me financially. I was more so chasing that. So I was acting from a place of like, okay, I'm aware of what I want and I'm just acting to get it rather than acting from a place of actual ability. And even though, through that learning process, that's when I really got into like mentors and spending on mentors. I ended up spending like was 100, just over 100K in the 1 year, 104,000, but just over 100K, and then like around 100K like per year for like two and a bit years with mentors, and just like kind of just spending on learning things, trying to get skin in the game, trying to improve my chances of, things working out on social media and this being like my career. Although like I'd made couple $1,000 like here and there up front, it's like it wasn't consistent enough for me to call it like an income. It was like I'd make a bit, live off that, make a bit, live off that. And although it was substantial enough for me to like figure myself out and all of that, I wasn't fully like figuring out the stability part of my business yet. And that's when I was like, okay, hang on, I just need to see reality as it is. So I started doing kind of content creation once again, and I returned. And obviously Tika, my business now, is two things. It's a creative agency on the one side, and then separately it's a consulting agency. And obviously you guys can get the information on the consulting agency in a separate time, in a separate video. This is purely for the creative agency because it's a creative agency for personal brands. At the end of the day, I looked at my entire journey, and what I'd done is I'd been trying things. I'd been learning things. I'd been trying to build businesses. I'm an entrepreneur at the core. I'm a creator at the core. I create things, content, I create art, digital art. Sometimes if I'm bored, I might even create a meme coin, you know what I mean? Besides the point, I've been building a personal brand through doing all this the entire time. Posting content, being real with my audience, posting vulnerable videos sometimes, posting value-driven videos sometimes credibility-based videos. I did everything, you know what I mean? Like I'm still doing everything, and it's all a part of my ecosystem of a personal brand, which is, my profile and all of my profiles across each platform. So what it has turned to is me being a personal brand by Matt Siebert, and I've got my two businesses, and they are obviously, doing business because of my personal brand. People see the content that I post, and you know what I mean, that either drives brand growth or it leads to sales. It's very, very simple. Like the context of who I am, that is what I do, who I am. I am a creative person. Honestly, I love to think. I'm a deep thinker. I'm someone who's been through a lot of trauma in my life. So in short, I've spent like a lot of time in my life self-reflecting, and a lot of time reading, a lot of time like meditating. And I'm someone with a deep love for the deeper side of life, the emotional side of life, for like spending time within and in your head. I think that's also why like content reflects quite powerfully from me. It's like I do spend time in there, so the things I do are quite thought out. I am someone who, again, just likes to inspire. I think that's why I do content too. I love to inspire people to be themselves, to feel like they can be themselves, to have a platform to be themselves. I love helping people feel like empowered through, capturing you in a certain way or capturing you authentically. There's a lot about me. So who I am, again, like if we're really going to deep that, this is going to be a 6-hour video, probably more. Probably at this, I could go on for like 24 hours straight. You know what I mean? Like we're not one face. I am many, many different faces, and you guys can tap into my Instagram and my YouTube by Matt Siebert and take a look, and you can learn me. That's the entire point of a personal brand, and that is obviously who I am. I'm me. I'm Matt Siebert, and you guys can learn me through spending time with me in these videos. So that's the context on who I am and why you should obviously just tap in, and if you needed the information to just at least make the decision for yourself, like that is yours. You can take that. You can make the decision for yourself. It is fine. So for the next part, let's just chat about why I actually started this journey. I think that's like the deepest part, and where I can relate to you. And it's also something that is like a part of the reason that I understand personal branding like I do, and it's a part of the picture. So I guess it's important information to just let on. I started this journey like a lot of you guys did. I wanted stability, financial stability, freedom, you know what I mean? Like I was kind of looking at what was possible in this life. I did not want to work a 9 to 5. I didn't want to slave away and kind of work for someone. I wanted freedom. And I think my biggest word here is I wanted ability. Ability is something that I like, it's inside of my core. It's like a deep, deep want, and it comes from my deepest roots, and that's why this, why I got into this is important. I grew up on a private island. I grew up with a lot of ability. I could, wake up in the morning and kind of just stumble out of my room, and I'd go onto a white sand beach, and I could go for a swim in like crystal clear waters, and then just mosey on back down to like the bar area on the island, and speak to someone, grab a drink, grab some food. Like, I have to be very, very transparent. Life was really, really, really good. When I was born, I literally moved straight to Zanzibar because my parents were in the travel industry. So I started out with like ability 100%. You know what I mean? Like, if I had stats, ability 100%. Then I returned to Cape Town, saw high school, saw financial instability with my parents, saw lots of things. Trauma happened, life unfolds. I think we all just truthfully know how things work. But I, in a way, saw that stat like decrease because I took a beating from life a little bit. So I wanted more out of life, and I fell in love with content because it made me, able, like I said, to see. It made me able to see life how I chose, basically. So I fell in love, and with that, added with the consumerism and the picture that I wanted out of life. Now I was like, I'm hell bent on making this work. I was gonna make this work with content. I was gonna make this work with the online journey, not on a 9 to 5. I was gonna pick a weird path. So, I always just tried things in public. I documented me figuring shit out in public. My ups and downs, my highs and lows, quite literally everything. I've put most of my life on social media, which is, I think, also a reason, like, I'm gonna be one of the personal brands out there, for example, one day that is like respected. People come to me. I already am growing in this direction, and I'm very grateful. But it's because, again, like I'm vulnerable enough to just put myself out there, and I have done this since I was a kid. And I'm going to keep doing this because it's exactly what these, personal brands are. Like, if you're going to really build something of yourself, you have to give yourself. Like, you got to be open at the end of the day. So I fell in love with this because realistically, I wanted to increase that stat again, that loading bar, ability. I wanted financial ability, freedom, time ability, ability to go on my phone, post a story, have the ideal clients go straight to my DM and be like, yo, I'd love you to, create this project or direct this project for me. Here's the budget. Straight up, that's exactly how I've set things up because that's the life I wanted. And that's exactly why I got into this. Like, just like you, we all grow up, we all, figure ourselves out as we go, and we all start wanting something out of life because we are only here once and it's a finite existence. So, if you're going to waste your time and not go at everything you ever wanted, or not try, at least create a picture that you desire and then like aim for that while we're here. Like, I don't know what you're doing, dude. Like, realistically, I do not know what you're doing. So that's exactly why I started my journey. So next up, I want to discuss some of the things I learned early on. Let's just put it like this. Like, early on, I realized a lot of things. Like, we start with, I think, in the personal brand space when we actually are studying, and when I started calling this personal study rather than just me doing personal branding without being conscious of it. I think we all start with the essentials. Like, the hormozi was a big one for me. Hormozi really opened my mind to like limiting belief, honestly. Like, sure, he's incredible at sales advice or closing or objection handling, but even just in general, just scaling business, he's incredible. But hormozi I got into early on because he killed my limiting beliefs of going for something massive, and then obviously just like structuring that simply, structuring life like a 5-year-old, like Feynman technique, keeping things very simple. He's helped me a lot with that. Early on, I was very impacted a lot by the consumerism wave. I think it was hitting heavy when, we're seeing 20-year-olds making like 500K a month US, and it's like, you're seeing Braze, you're seeing TJR, you're seeing all of those. Like, a lot of these personal brands have definitely come into my consciousness and taken, a little bit of a rent for themselves. But I think the most impact has come from, certain individuals like Nick Setting, for example, started out in the appointment setting space. He's kind of a competitor of mine, I won't even lie to you, as well as Sue I Go. It's like both of these individuals I want to, literally meet and spend more time with in person, so that I can literally ask them things and we can have like cool chats. But it's ironic because these are, in theory, my competitions in some ways. But at the end of the day, like, I create the content and actually film the pieces. These guys are just helping people grow the personal brand. So what we do and offer is completely separate. It's just like we both speaking to the same people, you guys wanting to build personal brands. So they have definitely impacted me quite heavily in the beginning. And then I think some of the major players, again, like your Gary V's, Tony Robbins, there's personal branding that is like, again, like, dude, people like Donald Trump, that's a personal brand, you know what I mean? It's someone who is creating impressions through what they distribute and post through social media. That's a personal brand. So there's a lot of people that have really like impacted my journey across the way. So it's tough for me to pick a few, but early on it was really those like Nick Setting, Sue I Go, like I said, Brett Scales, hormozi was really, really early on. And then obviously, like, I've got a lot like Chris Doe. I've got some smaller accounts here and there that I've personally taken a lot of influence from. But even down to, reading books, some of those things have impacted the way I understand personal branding. And that was also dating back early on, for example, like Spiral Dynamics, the book, understanding how a brand and a business is like an organism, and each arm is like functioning like a body, for example. It's like a personal brand is like a body. I see this like this. It was a great thing I thought of from reading that book, Spiral Dynamics. It's like a body. It has limbs. We've got fingers, we've got arms, we've got ears, eyes. Everything has a completely separate function, but nothing is like less important than the next thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's all there for a very, very, very valid reason, and it all contributes to the greater organism as a whole. And that's what a personal brand is. That's what each piece of content is inside of a personal brand. So my early influence in the space really came from, a lot of consumption. And again, like, I was hell-bent on personal study. So it was literally like I think my Kindle in the past year and a half, there's 55 books in my Kindle, and there's like 20 something books in my Apple Books, like plus in the past year and a half, and they're all just like helping me at that space. You know what I mean? You can go check out who I follow on Instagram, and you guys can see for yourself. I follow a lot of very selective people, and you guys can actually like go follow some of them for yourself, and like actually just, you can explore my mind through seeing who I follow, who I repost, what I interact with too. Like, that's just how life works, and that's also why I'm vulnerable on content, so that you can see enough of me to know me, to choose if you like me, to choose if you don't like me. I got to give you all the details at the end of the day. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing right now, because it's so like collapsed into like, okay, I must focus on posting this type of thing, or I must build authority and I must be the guy in this niche. And it's like, by doing that, you end up like actually diminishing so much of who you are and what you can do by just like falling into a collapsed lens. I'm literally just going and opening up the kind of guideline video just so I don't miss any topics with this. And yeah, just to finish off that, like, who influenced me, I have to obviously like give him credit. Iman Gadzhi, like, him and Alex have created something incredible. Like, I do literally give a little round of applause. You know what I mean? Like, they have truthfully created an incredible brand that spans massively across social media, and also took a lot of influence over the years stylistically, with, again, just being an entrepreneur, how he thinks. I enjoy how he thinks, and I do respect the guy quite a lot, I have to admit. So I'm sure I can relate to a lot of you guys, actually. in who I actually took influence from in my earlier stages. And I'm saying like I might have started content like 8+ years ago, but like my early stages with conscious, like I'm learning personal branding because I'm building a personal brand because I was aware of it, was like 2.5 years ago. So I was aware, and then I started acting on this like 2.5 years ago. And I've been iterating, scaling, and obviously kind of now I'm speaking from a more able place. So that's why I'm making this video, you know what I mean? So I guess a way to go into the next part of this video, because the next part of this video is to talk about something called uninformed optimism. That's where I was really like 2 years back. Like when you guys start out in personal branding and you're personal studying, because you have the lens of I'm trying to learn, we can consume a lot of shit that really like skews the boat, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's by nature, it's not your fault. It's literally like it's just human trait. When we learn, we take in information, but we need to make sure our filter is so strong. So being someone who wants something out of life, you want to achieve something, we can sometimes go about learning what to achieve and how to achieve something in a way that's called the uninformed optimistic route. And I learned this also from Alex Hormozi, but it is so true. And it's kind of just like going through something, soaking information, thinking you know what you're actually like sifting through. You know, when you're consuming courses or YouTube content, you think you actually know like what's going on, and you think you actually are in the right way. Often we validate ourselves, you know what I mean? Often, even like using tools like AI these days, you fall into confirmation bias, you fall into validation loops. We don't often see reality as it is, and that's the uninformed optimistic, like not seeing reality as it is. It's kind of not holding a veridical perception when we're learning things. So it's more naive like kind of learning, or more critical, like take on reality kind of learning, instead of, you know, just operating with an omniscient kind of perception that's like seeing reality as it is. So that was 2 years ago. Like I was like, okay, I need to learn. I need to invest in a mentor. So I was obviously like looking for someone to connect to because I want to achieve this goal. So I ended up spending on someone who showed pretty much the lifestyle that I desired. You know, we know the trick. You know, you show a certain lifestyle online, build a presence in that manner, people might pay you to achieve that lifestyle. I fell into that loop, bro. And I know a lot of you guys have fallen into that loop too, and it sucks so much because it is not real. It's not dealing with reality as it is. So I made some mistakes, spent on mentors, and eventually you crash. Like I really like I fucked up a lot of things. I had a business agency, consulting agency, and I actually like closed everything down, bro, to rebuild my creative agency once again. So that uninformed optimistic was quite literally a downwards graph. But on the other end, it comes up again to informed optimism, which was where you learn from your lessons. You learn to look at reality as it is, to operate from ability rather than just like wanting something, or, you know, just being aware of the lifestyle you desire, and then like doing things and acting within that awareness rather than acting from, you know, that ability, acting from where you would be in that end goal already. So you get into this informed optimistic kind of mindset, and then you start figuring things out. And that's kind of where I would honestly say in the past like 6 months to a year I've truly come into, which obviously the next step is achievement. And that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like this informed optimism where I'm just dealing with creating content and doing what I actually wanted to do, which is, you know, content creation, and getting the lifestyle I wanted as a condition, having ability through the way I act, which was inevitably going to be inside of content, not in something that I had to still build an image and build accreditation for. It's like it was always going to be the thing that I was and that I am at the end of the day, and that was me being a creative. So as soon as I returned everything to just being real, Like Alex Hormozi said again in a podcast on Diary of a CEO the other day, and he said, reality is the moat in content. And I was like, fuck. Because as soon as we return everything to being real, we go into that informed optimism, and the next step is literally achievement. You're dealing with things properly. When you create content scripts or create videos, you're creating real things. When you're looking at data, you're looking at it as it is, not using some AI to just like over perceive things. You need to have, honestly, like, it's like trading by the dip, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have failed to win. You have to have learned your lessons to come into that informed, optimistic mindset to achieve anything. And in personal branding, what this has really meant is, yes, you have to do all the value-driven content, the credibility-driven content. You need to build profile funnels. You need to do story sequences. You need to do top of funnel, bottom of funnel, middle of funnel. You need to do everything. You need to have a converting website. You need to have, mid-video CTAs. You need to have webinars that run sometimes that are very clear and very well like constructed funnels. Every single part is a part of a personal brand. I don't know why we're making videos thinking like one part is how people are going to figure it out. You need to learn everything. Everything is what a personal brand is. It's the same as a brand. It's like it encaptures the entire system. The entire system must be captured, but what's in front of brand? Person. What are we capturing? Person. So capture the details. Get used to capturing those details, and you'll start winning. Honestly, like you'll rise when you get that informed, optimistic level, like into that informed, optimistic level. And I mean, to get there, I had to put down some of the things like I wasn't aware about at first. We have to stop creating because we're actually like consuming. We gotta when I was learning and when I had this like mindset that I'm like, okay, I want to achieve this, I'm gonna go pay mentors. I'm scrolling and I'm trying to learn from certain content that I see. When we are always trying to like consume information, filter information, take, we often aren't like actually creating authentically. We're just consuming. It's literally two completely opposite ends. If you're gonna consume, save that for consuming days, literally, you know what I mean? If you want to learn, intake on one day, output on a different day. So creating is completely separate, and it did honestly put me in such a different mindset when I just like looked within and I really spoke to myself, and I was like, I do consume a lot, and you know what I mean? Like creating a personal brand of a real empire is going to be that binary flip of just like, okay, I create because I actually have intention, because I want to create impressions that lead to engagements, and certain engagements will, either lead to brand growth or sales, or you're just creating because you're like, okay, I saw that worked on that guy's page. That one is consumption. That one is not real. That one is not you thinking, you operating. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to show your accreditation and credibility, you need to operate. You can't just be like regurgitating shit that you didn't even think of, bro. So that was also like a flip that really helped me get into that like informed, optimistic mindset. It was really just stopping consuming and start creating. So, separate the two, please. It's going to be a really helpful tool, I guess, for you guys along the way, right? And then I'm going to talk about investing in mentors, right? Because I made the mistakes and invested in mentors in my uninformed, optimistic mindset earlier on, I'm allowed to make the distinction for you guys and just like warn you guys of when you invest in mentors. I'm not a mentor personally. Like I literally help personal brands create films, and with creative direction. You guys can check out my websites. They're all linked to my profile on Instagram. It's besides the point. When you invest in mentors, because I've done this in my own path, you need to remember that you have a desire. It's the funniest thing, bro. Like, when we have a desire, it means we have not achieved something just yet. It means when we see something that we want to achieve, we're going to collapse into like a bit of a sloppy mindset in terms of like, being able to discern certain situations. Our discernment goes to shit, quite literally. And often we end up like investing because we think there's potential rather than investing because we know there's like actual potential. You know what I mean? Rather than actually like really spending the time getting to know someone as a person and maybe choosing a mentor like that, or you're just seeing a lifestyle, you're seeing a number 400k every month or whatever it may be, and you're like, okay, that's the guy. Rather than like, again, for example, I see people investing in some of my competition is just like, I guess you could consider someone who like helps personal brands with concepts for video content. Like you could call them my competition, because I'm a creative director. I also create the films, but I also creative direct. So I guess you could place me there. But I often just see people just like creating complete slump, and it is because we're regurgitating. Fuck it. I'm getting sidetracked. We are talking about investing in mentors, right? We need to just remember that one thing. Like I was going off on track. We need to remember that when you are investing in mentors, you have a desire. You're going to collapse into the desire. We have this thing in our mind called perception collapse. Meaning if we have a way of thinking, a way of seeing, we're going to collapse into that way and experience from that way. Right? You can even look at it. Donald Hoffman helped me see this inside of his book, A Case Against the Reality. Frame interprets how we experience. So if we have a frame, so whatever's imprinted, believed, accepted subconsciously, that basically is how you experience reality itself. And I don't mean to sound all like feng shui and shit, but that's physics, my guy. So when we're investing in mentors and making that decision, we need to remember that when we're seeing those pieces of content that person's putting out, we need to be able to filter properly and actually make a discerning choice by ourselves. And that is going to be done through actually meeting someone, getting to know someone, becoming mutual with someone, understanding the components of who someone is and who someone is not properly, rather than just seeing a lifestyle, a number, 500k a month or whatever it is, something like not that meaningful. You know what I mean? Like, just remember that. I don't want to get too sidetracked on that point because it can just like go into a longer conversation. And I want to move into obviously just like where I'm at kind of, and where I've been in the past like 2 months of my life, I guess. And that's what I'm going to call just like brutal simplification of life and of my personal brand. And that's where I've come into like the most ridiculous clarity on social media, on creative direction, creating short form content, on clipping for brands, on everything. Like I've never been in so much clarity in my entire life, because this is like the point where I just realized like what was actually going on. And that was that I have overcomplicated everything because I had that desire to build a personal brand. You are looking at everything, trying to fucking filter everything for yourself, rather than just getting the information from someone who has failed, or just creating content from someone who has actually like been in the space, made the mistakes for themselves. You know what I mean? Like on our journey to becoming great, we often overcomplicate. I don't mean to, like, someone can clip that and create a fucking song out of that, literally, but it's bars. Straight up, write that down. That's bars. Brutal simplification is needed in that like informed, optimistic stage, and it will happen by nature as a condition, trust me. And that means you need to look at things again, like see reality as it is. You need to realize that all the things you learn across the way are parts of it. It's not just one thing. Like you are not just one person, you know, or one emotion. Like you're not just happy you, you're sad you, happy you, thoughtful you, emotional you. Like fuck, bro. Once you realize that all those pieces along the way, all those golden nuggets along the way are what a personal brand is. And a personal brand is literally making something of yourself online, putting yourself out there online. You have businesses, or you have an intention behind building your presence online and holding people's attention. Like if there's an intention behind why you want people to follow you, to, you know, look at your business or your shit, that's a personal brand. You are building a brand. You're building a name for yourself, an image for yourself, a picture for yourself, and there's going to be so many components of what that is. So until you brutally simplify it, like Trust me, I speak from experience. You're gonna be in that dip like we spoke about. Until you simplify things, you will remain in that dip. You'll consolidate there, just like a chart, dude. So we're gonna move into what I learned in 2025. And let me just be real. Like 2025 was a tough year for me. I think I got into some of the most like malleable belief mindset kind of modes that I ever got into, because I was feeling like I really just had to like achieve what I wanted now. Like being, I think, a younger dude, I don't know, I just got this like fucking instant gratification gets to us, bro. You know what I mean? Delayed gratification is a very powerful tool to learn, especially as a young individual. So early in 2025, I really, because I was like investing in mentors at this point, it really, I had gotten a pretty cool opportunity where I was like basically just like working sometimes with someone in the property space. I had access to crazy villas, so it was very easy for me to, you know, build a personal brand and create a very specific image for myself and speak to specific people from that image. But again, it was all based off desire and still speaking to people with that desire. So I wasn't even thinking straight. I was still in that consumption mindset. So what I learned back in 2025, again, like we really do just need to watch how we filter information and watch that. I guess if we see it as like a little ticker, like seeing reality as it is, seeing reality as we choose to and as we perceive, like we need to make sure we're seeing reality as it is. And I'm not saying like kill your own self-belief so that you can get to certain places and actual realities. Just make sure you connect the two, you know what I mean, logically. So ground your thinking. That's literally all that I'm saying. So what I learned in 2025, because I feel like I had shot myself into a lot, like mentors, a lot of access to like villas and all of these things. So I was like creating content and learning all this and creating what I learned and regurgitating things and not actually even spending any time thinking, right? Like early 2025, I learned what it meant to actually just see things as they are and to get out of that naive perception and more to that omniscient perception, which is seeing reality as it is and dealing with the real components of what's in front of you. Like that's what I learned in 2025. I think my biggest lesson, other than authenticity, we all know that fucking word, but like we shouldn't even have to speak on that word, bro. Like be yourself. Conversation finished. Thank you. You know what I mean? What I learned in 2025 realistically was just like, honestly, to see reality as it is, just to deal with the pieces of what's actually in front of me. 2026 mistakes was very interesting. Like at this point, like I'd been posting in the biz consulting space for a little while, because at that point I was consulting other personal brands with business operations over what I actually love doing and what I've returned my creative agency to doing, which is actually just the content and the form creation, because I create forms. I don't just create generic shit that you see on Instagram, YouTube. I create forms because I'm a director at heart and creative at heart, blah, blah, blah. Like end goal, I'm gonna be making like Nolan forms, you know what I mean? So starting out in the personal brand, whoever gets me is going to be creating like Nolan level forms for your personal brand. Besides the point, early 2026 was a lot of fun. Like I was boosting content. I had access to those like villas. Like yeah, you guys can scroll and you'll see it all on my personal brand. But I had a lot of access. So I basically like was, you know, doing my business consulting offers, and I met some people and we decided to build a retreat. So closer from like Jan to like March, we were trying to basically pull off this retreat for different entrepreneurs. A lot of synergy issues went on in that, and I also like, I think I further learned really just like discernment inside of the decisions that we are making and what to focus on. That's real. Like it was just like a further prover on me just dealing with things as they are, especially in content creation. It was just like I had seen all of these things and created opportunities because I was still like trying to create that picture, trying to live that life, and that was the point. by me telling you guys, saying like I had access to the villas, I had all this, like I was creating and proving and validating an image rather than damn capturing an image. And that's probably one of the most important things in a personal brand that you can take for yourself, especially in this video. Stop fucking turning the camera on and think like, okay, I need to look like this, I need to create this. As a creator, the most powerful things that you capture in this life that will impact others, influence others, impress on others, make people think, is not you proving something, not you validating something, not you turning on the camera to do your thing. It's you filming you doing your thing. It is you being real, right? That flip was so important to me. And I was just like, I was creating an image, trying to prove myself to personal brand space so that I could do business with people. You know, you're posting your results on your story every story sequence, yet no one replies, yet you see people like Nick Setting do it, and it's like he's getting hundreds of replies and shit. So you're like, why is it not working? It's literally just because you're not dealing with things truthfully. Like, I wasn't dealing with reality. That's it. When I started and I was like, okay, let me capture what shit is, people start listening. You start actually like holding some weight as a person because it's real, man. You know what I mean? Like, if you have to literally just also perceive this, like, do you really want your lifestyle like that leads to everything you ever wanted in your life to be you just like constantly proving yourself, like, I am this good, I am doing this kind of business. Like, you look and sound like honestly, like someone who's just readily open to any fucking belief change. Someone could just throw anything on you and you would just believe it. Like, you're just not even like being someone weighted. You're not even a human in that regard. So I'm just like, be real, hold your own weight, and like make that distinction for yourself. That's I think one of the biggest things I've learned this year or in 2026 in general. Just like capture real shit. That's it. Capture real shit, man. So where I am right now is like the clearest I've ever been. Like I said earlier in this video, just like the next part of this is just discussing my current clarity. And I want to just say, like, all of the things that I've mentioned in this video are important for you. Like, you do need to do, you know, the work and understand that a business is like a body. A personal brand is like a body. Every part of the body functions separately, but is like equal in value and how important it is for the greater whole, if you get what I'm saying. And that accounts for you posting certain types of content, like accreditation-based content or value-based content, top of funnel stuff. Like, everything matters. All I'm gonna say to you, being in this clear space right now, if you're gonna build an empire, be real, get vulnerable, dude. Like, think about what it is to put yourself out there. Think of all the great brands that you've seen, personal brands that you've seen, the big ones, you know, down to like even Gary Vee, Tony Robbins. I hate to bring them up, but the two brothers, I won't even say their names so YouTube doesn't censor me, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Like, it is just dropping like that I need to validate mask and just saying like, fuck it, I'm gonna put myself out there, all of myself. Once you can make that choice for yourself internally, trust me, you can build a personal brand. Like, for people to be able to want to reshare you at mass value, whether they are working and paying you or not, like, you need a substantial level of influence. To have a substantial level of influence, you need to put a substantial amount of yourself out there, right? So people can connect, to make choices for yourself, to go like, damn, I really agree with this person, or damn, I really hate this person. Like, the choice is really there. It's as simple as that. Can you actually capture yourself, all of yourself as a person, and put that out there and brand it, put a face to who this is and capture all of it? That's what a personal brand is. And that's why it's a tough space. That's why it's one of the most difficult spaces to break into. So allow me to clarify what I can do for you guys. If you guys are building or own a personal brand and are growing your personal brand, I'm not the guy who can sit and say, I'm going to grow your personal brand for you. Like, I know a lot of the details in between, that's for sure. But I'm the guy who films them, who creates them, very literally. I'm a creator. I'm not like just a growth operator or just like some consultant. That's not really what I am. I left that quite a while ago. So for clarity at the end of this video, I am inviting you guys as personal brand owners and individuals who are trying to build and create this personal brand and create empires. I'm inviting you guys to come create films with me. Also to come get your content directed and creative directed by me, someone with taste and experience from making my own mistakes inside of this space. Once again, it's just that distinction. There's a lot of my competition who actually will help you grow your personal brands and get you ideal clients. I'm the guy who actually films the content, who actually creates the content, who actually directs the content. That's the distinction you need. So if you guys are obviously wanting to get that for yourself, you know exactly where to come to. Tika, the digital agency, or just search me by Matt Siebert on my personal brand, and you guys can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it may be. Again, I'm pretty much on like every channel. I'm omni-platformed at this point, and my personal brand is one big ecosystem that spans everywhere. And at the end of the day, I'm the guy who creates these films and creates these cinematics and narratives. So if you guys want to do that, you know where to find me. And to finish off this video, I just wanted to make sure that you guys obviously like enjoyed this. If you guys did, just like drop a comment, drop your opinions, drop your thoughts. I hope this helped you. Just like I really have just been thinking over the past couple of days, the most valuable information I can possibly give you is just looking at things as they are, like I've mentioned in this video, and just being real about everything. I don't need to package things in some, pristine image and show you millions of dollars for you to listen to me. I think the most authentic, real experiences can sometimes be the most beneficial, especially in terms of learning and in terms of, getting from A to B, which is where you guys are trying to do, and where you guys are and what you guys are trying to do, obviously, by building personal brands. And, you clicked on this video because you want to learn everything that someone else has learned who has spent time inside of this space. You want to take everything from me that I've learned. And I get that. I obviously understand why. So from someone who's also building his own empire, I've got, my two businesses connected to my personal brand at the end of the day. Just stay you, be real, be yourself. Make sure that you aren't consuming too much, and make sure you are creating from a proper intentional place. Make sure that you know that a personal brand is many, many components, and you have to capture all of you as a person, all of who you are, all of who you are not. There's many types of formats that you have to focus on. Not one is, the way that you can succeed in the space. Like, you got to try everything, bro. You got to really test and actually like spend time and get experience for yourself. So if you want to, create content and create films with someone who has had their own experience, and you guys can, understand my experience and have access to all that information because of my personal brand. You guys know me, you guys understand me, you guys obviously can make that choice for yourself. Send me a DM at @MattSiebert on Instagram if you are ready to start working and create films, or if you want me creative directing your content month to month for your personal brand, so that you can slowly build your empire, and so that we can actually look at you and the components of who you are and properly capture that. That's all. So that was everything I've ever learned in personal brand in a kind of 1 hour format, or just under an hour format. I wanted to just literally just like sit here and just freeball, just based off the topics that I've kind of got in front of me. I've got like a basic guideline, let me just put it like that, and I've covered everything, basically just giving you guys all the information I've ever taken from my learning journey so far inside of the personal brand space. And yeah, once again, I'm obviously inviting a couple of you individuals to access me as kind of, let's just put it like this, your creative director or your filmmaker and content creator for your personal brand on a month-to-month basis. That's literally what I do. So if you guys want that, you know where to find that, like I have mentioned in this video. I hope all the free value has really, really like, got through to you, and I hope you guys have taken some notes, during this video. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. We still have 26 other videos planned over the next month and going into September. So drop a subscription on this page. This is my personal channel, kind of my main YouTube platform for longer conversations, longer videos like this, longer cinematic pieces and films. And then obviously my, Instagram is kind of for those quicker touch points. It's more impressionable content, so obviously just take a look there, and you guys can also just check out my story. I am active on that story every single day, and you guys can get a window into my daily lifestyle a little bit. So see you guys in the next video. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful. This is a video that I've been wanting to make for a very long time, and keeping it this real, even keeping some of my own mistakes in here and some of my own speech mishaps. I think this is exactly what I wanted to capture, and exactly what I wanted to just express by capturing this video is just drop, even though this is cinematic and it's filmed on a professional camera, we've got good audio, everything, just drop that need to validate, that need to create your image and show the world who you are. Just capture it, bro. Just capture it. You're going to be building a personal brand like no one else. So I hope you guys enjoy.